In Prototype 2, you play as James Heller, a man on a quest for revenge against a virus that's destroying New York City and killed his family. Is it any good? Find out.
Knock it off! Private! Up there! Up the window! Stick the door! Light 'em up!
In Prototype 2, you play a different character from the main character of the original Prototype, and this time you're James Heller, a stereotypically pissed off dude with a dead family and a quest for revenge. And he's got powers that he inherited from the way cooler Alex Mercer from the first game. The plot this time around tries to be a little bit more emotionally in-depth and intriguing, but for the most part, it fails to interest anybody. The main character, Heller, is pretty much just an angry guy with not really that clear of a motivation, and he really comes off as pretty bland and boring, and really unlikable, which is kind of weird. But Prototype 2 isn't really about story. When it does try and be about story, it's pretty embarrassing, but when it tries to just be what it is, a dumb action game, it's a little better. Combat this time around is greatly improved. It really feels great from the controller and really gives you a way more surprisingly visceral feeling than the already really violent original. Everything is way more responsive and everything you do makes sense. It's a lot less of you just flying around and things blowing up. And the chaos is a bit more controlled this time, and I really enjoyed that. There are a lot more cool abilities and powers to unlock this time around, and the leveling up is much more structured like a real basic game. And gaining powers this time around is a little bit more investing and drawn out, and really gives you the time to develop a liking for each one. The game's action does take a really long time to pick up. At first I actually kind of hated the beginning of the game. But once it starts to really pick up and the action starts getting nuts, it's a lot of fun to watch and a lot of fun to play. This time around, there's much more to do in New York City, as you would expect with any open world game. More is always added. There's lots of things to collect, there's lots of things to level up, there's a lot of things to kill, there's a lot of things to look for, and it really fleshes out to make this a decently long game that gives you a lot to do. It does feel a little bit repetitive after a while. The whole concept of changing into someone and disguising yourself as someone else was overdone and beaten to death with Prototype 1, and now here we are again doing it in Prototype 2 all the time, and it's so annoying. That being said, sneaking around this time around is a lot easier, something that really annoyed me in the last game. The game world is much more detailed and varied this time around. There's 3 separate districts New York City is divided up into. There's the safe zone with civilians and stuff, then there's the yellow zone, which is kind of in the middle, and then there's the red zone, which is like ruined, destroyed New York City with monsters running around. And it actually looks really cool. The level design this time is much more varied, like a lot of more recent open world games, where there's a lot of landmarks and really distinct neighborhoods, which eventually you can kind of learn your way around instead of just a big, repetitive, bland city. And that's great. The only problem is that, and this is a personal opinion, but New York City is so, in the game, NYZ as it's called, is so embarrassingly unlike New York City. I'm playing this game and I'm like, what is this supposed to be? The map doesn't help either, but that's besides the point. Besides it not looking like New York City, the visuals of this game are not really too solid. The game looks like it's about 4 or 5 years old, and the fact that you can only see about a block away is pretty embarrassing. The game uses a fog to, I guess, obscure the area to make it look like it's like, like a war zone that New York City is. And yeah, it is. But I feel like it's a cheap way to just obscure that this game can't render distances very far. It's not like a lot of other games where you can climb up on a building and look and see the whole impressive city. You can only see, a couple feet away. That's really embarrassing. I didn't really like that, especially when a lot of times in the game you have to scan and track down targets. You're not going to be able to scan and track down targets if you can't see very far away through the fog that the game is hiding. But an ugly game aside, like I said, it does give you a lot of access to things to do and things to keep you busy, even if it looks really ugly doing it. The game's version of an online pass is called RadNet. It's Activision's way of pumping out content every week, like little challenges and games and stuff within the game to keep you busy and keep content coming. For the review, I had access to a couple weeks ahead of content, and for the most part, it was kind of boring stuff. It's fun little diversions, but nothing that really makes you care about anything, and it's nothing as substantial as real DLC. But like I said, if you like killing, this game gives you plenty of ways to kill people and plenty of ways to cause mayhem, and it is a lot of fun. I'm a big fan of just open world sandbox superhero games. Like, I love swinging around in Spider-Man. Infamous 2 was my pick of game of the year last year. So I did spend a lot of time just running around, throwing people off buildings, killing people, throwing cars at grandmas and stuff. So that's really cool. I appreciate the game for that. Like I said earlier, when the game isn't trying to be anything more than just a dumb, mindless action movie, that's when it really works, and that's when I have a lot of fun. The game feels mediocre in every single way. Well, not every single way, but a lot of ways. But at the same time, I had a little fun here and there. In conclusion, overall, I give this game a Christian Slater, as in, it doesn't really do much anymore. It's kind of just hanging around. You don't really know how you feel about it, but some people like it. So let me know in the comments what you guys think of Prototype 2, who in the game you're killing, what you enjoy doing the most, and that's pretty much it.
What the hell?